So today, Hunter Biden has been brought up on 3 different charges that normally would be a felony, but has been knocked down due to a plea deal from felony to misdemeanor. The charges include 2 counts of tax evasion, willful tax evasion, by the way, which is a felony of not paying taxes of $100,000 or more in the years of 2017, 2018, and a gun charge that I'm going to go even further into because the fact that he won't get a felony charge or any jail time is just outrageous to me. And I want to refer back to an article written by Politico back in 2021. The article states that on October 23rd, 2018, President Joe Biden's son Hunter and daughter-in-law Hallie were involved in a bizarre incident in which Hallie took Hunter's gun and threw it in a trash can behind a grocery store, only to return later to find it gone. Delaware police began investigating, concerned that the trash can was across from a high school and that the missing gun could be used in a crime, according to law enforcement officials and a copy of the police report obtained by Politico. So let's just stop right there. So Hallie is Joe Biden's daughter-in-law that was married to Biden's son, Beau Biden, that is now passed on. Hunter Biden was sleeping with his deceased brother's wife. It states their romantic relationship that they were having at this time in the article. Furthermore, she was so crazy that she went on and disposed of this firearm in a trash can. How is that not illegal in itself? A fully working firearm in a trash can across from a high school. It gets crazier. But a curious thing happened at the time. Secret Service agents approached the owner of the store where Hunter bought the gun and asked to take the paperwork involving the scale, according to 2 people, one of whom has firsthand knowledge of the episode, and the other was briefed by a Secret Service agent after the fact. The gun store owner refused to supply the paperwork, suspecting that the Secret Service officers wanted to hide Hunter's ownership of the missing gun in case it were involved in a crime. The 2 people said the owner, Ron Palmieri, later turned over the papers to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, which oversees federal gun laws. The Secret Service says it has no record of its agents investigating the incident, and Joe Biden, who was not under protection at the time, said through a spokesperson that he has no knowledge of any Secret Service involvement, which kind of verifies that claim that the Secret Service shows up out of nowhere knowing this incident happened and tried to cover it up by obtaining the paperwork. This is just getting more and more outrageous. And the article, again, just gets crazier, so keep listening. Days later, the gun was returned by an older man who regularly rummages through the grocery store's trash to collect recyclable items. The incident did not result in charges or arrest. The alleged involvement of Secret Service remains a mystery. One law enforcement official said that at the time of the incident, individual Secret Service agents at the agency's offices in Wilmington, Delaware, and Philadelphia kept an informal hand in maintaining the former vice president's security. The person cited an instance in 2019 when the Wilmington office of the Secret Service called the Delaware State Police to arrange security for a public appearance by Biden. The Secret Service declined to answer a question about whether it had informal involvement in Biden's security during this period. Asked whether the Secret Service requested state police security for Biden during the period when he was not under the agency's protection, a Delaware State Police spokesman said, "I have reached out to our sergeant who oversees the Executive Protection Unit with the Delaware State Police. He is unaware of any such requests or services provided." Any involvement by the Secret Service on behalf of the Biden family or on its own initiative would be inappropriate interference in an incident that was already being investigated by Delaware State Police with the involvement of the FBI, according to law enforcement officials. Politico obtained copies of the firearm transaction records and a receipt for the gun dated October 12, 2018. Hunter Biden responded no to a question on the transaction record that asked, "Are you an unlawful user or addicted to marijuana or any depressant, stimulant, narcotic, drug, or any other controlled substance?" 5 years earlier, he had been discharged from the Navy Reserve after testing positive for cocaine, and he and his family members have spoken about his history of drug use. Lying on the form is a felony. Neither Hallie nor George Mizires, a lawyer for Hunter Biden, responded to requests for comment. The gun store incident occurred during a period after Hunter Biden's administrative discharge from the Naval Reserves for his positive cocaine test and his subsequent divorce from his first wife, Kathleen. At the time of the gun incident, Hunter was in a romantic relationship with Hallie, the widow of his late brother, Bo. That's just hard for me to even say. Like, that's kind of disgusting. But the incident began when Hallie searched Hunter's pickup, which was parked at her home in Wilmington because of unspecified suspicions she had, according to Delaware State Police report. Inside the truck, she found a .38 revolver. Hallie took the gun to the Jansen's Market, a nearby high-end grocery store where the Bidens are longtime regular customers. There, she tossed the gun, wrapped in a black shopping bag, into a trash bin outside the store. Like, how stupid are these people? Later that day, Hallie informed Hunter of what she had done, and he instructed her to retrieve the gun according to the police report. When Hallie returned to the grocery store, she found that the gun was missing from the garbage bin and reported the issue to the store. The missing gun caused heightened concern, according to the police report, because the grocery store sits across the street from Alexis DuPont High School. You can't make this shit up. Arriving on the scene, Delaware State Police retrieved security camera footage from the store and interviewed Jansen, the store manager. The FBI also responded to the scene, according to people familiar with the situation. At the time, the FBI was monitoring Hunter Biden as part of an investigation that remains ongoing and that currently focuses on his taxes. The FBI declined to comment. We all know now that he has been brought up on those two charges, plus this gun charge. In addition to questioning Hallie, police called Hunter to the scene, where he was questioned outside the store's loading dock area and explained he used a gun for target practice, according to the report. If you see the gun, by the way, it's a .38. That's all it is. So it's not one you really go target practicing with, like you buy other guns if you're just using it for target practice. It's a protection gun. At one point, two of Jansen's employees described a police report as Mexican males walked past the loading dock area, and Hunter told a police officer that the store had some suspicious people working for it. Asked if he was referring to those two staffers, Hunter responded, yeah, probably illegal. I mean, this is our president, the left's, pride and joy. This is his son talking like this. When a police officer asked Hunter whether the gun had been used in a crime, the officer reported that Hunter became very agitated with me and asked me if I was intentionally trying to make him mad, according to the report. I want you to think about this. That is a legitimate question. Why would Hallie go and throw the gun in a trash can just off of some suspicion if Hunter Biden had not done something illegal or was worried about the firearm being used illegally? Just think about that. When the officer asked Hunter whether he had been doing drugs or drinking heavily, he responded, listen, it isn't like that. I think she believes I was going to kill myself, according to the report. An officer asked Hunter whether he had called his father about the incident before he arrived. Hunter responded, I have never called my dad for anything. Obviously, that's like, well, I'm not getting my dad involved. You would expect that. After being questioned, Hunter retrieved the case for the gun, which included the gun's serial number from Hallie's house, and returned it to the grocery store to hand it over to police. While police questioned Hunter and Hallie, two Secret Service agents arrived at the store where Hunter had purchased the gun, StarQuest Shooters and Survival Supply in Wilmington. The agents showed their badges and identification cards to Palmieri, the store's owner, and asked to take possession of the firearm transaction records that Hunter had filled out to buy the gun earlier that month. So while Hunter was being questioned and they realized, oh shit, this is actually illegal, what he has done and what she has done, we need to go to the gun store where he purchased it and get these records to basically remove any evidence that he even purchased it in the first place. What a cover-up going on here. Good article by Politico so far. Palmieri refused to hand over the transaction record to the Secret Service agents because such records fall under the purview of the ATF. The Secret Service agents left without the records, according to people familiar with the case. Later that day, the ATF arrived at the store to inspect the records. So, think about this. Joe Biden has launched his campaign throughout his presidency to get very strict on gun laws. Meanwhile, his own son can commit multiple felonies, and as we are seeing now, due to a plea deal, this felony is going to be knocked down to a misdemeanor, and he will be allowed to go and purchase more firearms. If you were to do this exact same thing, you'd be in jail subject up to 10 years imprisonment, by the way, for willfully lying on a gun application, and you would never be allowed to purchase a firearm again. So Joe Biden is pushing to keep the guns out of the bad people's hands, yet his own son can commit multiple felonies, get it knocked down to a misdemeanor, and still retain the right to go and purchase a firearm. The law is not treated equal, my friends, and it's not you that are above it. It's the elite that are above the law.